Chair. Procedure, Honorable Speaker.
Yes.
As a member of the IPOD Summit, I am finding it extremely strange that I cannot even put input on the goings on of IPOD on record. You see, Madam Speaker, every parliament we have debated a memorandum, and there's a current memorandum which is standing for IPOD. And the chair of IPOD for the last 4 years has been NRM. And if there's any breach, it is NRM who have failed to call a summit or even a council meeting. So it is important that we deal with this actual issue, because what are we correcting? What is the sickness? What is the disease we're correcting? At the moment, the summit has not sat since NRM has been in the chair for 4 years. Yet it's supposed to be 6 months. The provisions which are being brought now are being brought in bad faith, because in the last parliament, under the chairmanship of Honorable Boss of Boss, IPOD brought it, and I personally presented them to the same committee. Because the increased funding which came in a supplementary of 2020 had IPOD in it. And how was that money to be shared? At that time, political parties were sharing 10 billion per annum. Under the IPOD arrangement, it was increased to 35, with 5 billion going as the 15%, another 5 billion for covering the other 15%, and then 70%, the 25 billion, was on numerical strength. At that time, the president acknowledged that NRM acted in bad faith by not allowing that amendment to pass. They acted in bad faith. The words of the president, unchristian. And now we are going through a process to undermine everything. There's no dialogue here. If we talk about dialogue, as a political party, as a leader of a political party, as the political party which first held the first summit, from 2009, the first summit was held in December 2018, under my chairmanship. And the principles which we're debating is what we agreed in that. It's under the Democratic Party that they put flesh on those principles. And honestly, Madam Speaker, are we proceeding well when we cannot discuss this issue? I have not been consulted as a leader of the summit. As a political party, we have not been consulted. How is it that we're debating this issue? And that is why I say it is diabolical. It is not done in the interest of the political players. I speak for UPC. My brother Asuman is not part of this. And I'm thankful that Mao is not here to embarrass himself. This is wrong. And we shall all be judged.
Thank you.
Let us be honest.
Honorable members.
In the following terms. Clause 1 of the bill is amended.
With the legal identity, defined governance structure, and budgetary allocation from the National Treasury. 2. Provide continuity in leadership, programming, and stakeholder engagement. They continue. A statutory foundation would help IPOD transition from a project-based entity to nationally owned and constitutionally anchored institution. That is found in paragraph 2 on page 5. Let IPOD not just be an initiative, but an institution. This is in the concluding paragraph on page 6. End of quotation. It is clear from the written submissions of the movers of the bill and their one-man ally, Mr. Serwambala, that the bill imposes a charge on the consolidated fund. Parliament is stopped from proceeding on any bill or a motion for that bill that imposes a statutory charge on the consolidated fund. This is in Article 93 of the Constitution and Rule 130, Sub-Rule 1 and 2 of the Rules of Procedure. This is the finding of the minority. The minority finds that the Political Parties and Organizations Amendment Bill 2025, privately moved by the Honorable NAKUT Faith Loru, Honorable Mutembuli Yusuf, and Honorable Afidra Ronald Olema, violates Article 93 of the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda, and therefore it is unconstitutional. The other dissent is overthrow of the legal mandates of the other institutions. The minority observed that the private members bill, the Political Parties and Organizations Amendment Bill 2025, intends to overthrow the legal mandates of various institutions conferred by the Constitution and Acts of Parliament. A patient analysis of by the minority observed that Parliament, this institution, Electoral Commission, National Youth Council, National Women's Council, amongst others, will be relegated to be subordinate to IPOD. The mandate to carry out legal reforms is an exclusive preserve of Parliament provided under Article 79. Nobody can make a law to reform issues of elections except this Parliament. 2, the mandate to enforce rules of engagement and conduct amongst political parties is the preserve of the Electoral Commission by law. The mandate to institutionalize women and youth in political spaces is a preserve of the Women and National Youth Councils. The recent policy of the NRM government, as told to us here in this Parliament by the Minister of Public Service, is that MPAs are being rationalized for efficiency and effectiveness by eliminating duplication and wastefulness. This is my finding. The minority finds that the bill interferes with both the constitutional and statutory mandates of Parliament, Cabinet, Electoral Commission, National Youth Council, National Women's Council, and potentially amends by infection several acts of Parliament which will likely plunge government into conflicts and confusion. It is further found that provisions of the bill appear to contradict the government policy of rationalization, specifically on halting the creations of new bodies, organs, councils, secretariats, etc. The third dissent is on lack of public and consultation with political parties. The minority observed that the movers of the Political Parties and Organizations Amendment Bill 2025 did not consult the political parties represented in Parliament and those outside. In fact, the motion seeking leave of Parliament to move a private member's bill was sought and granted to the movers of the bill on the 13th May 2025 around 5 p.m. The order paper listing the bill for the first reading, which was the next day, 14th May 2025, was released on the 14th, just as we are here, on the 13th May 2025, before the bill was even published and gazetted. The bill was published then on the 14th May 2025 and introduced to the House on the same day. The Honorable Chairperson of the Committee of Legal and Parliamentary Affairs scheduled, and indeed the committee held the meetings with the movers on the 15th day of 2025, and today we are here to present the report with only the movers of the bill submitting. It is therefore suspicious that the regulator of the political parties, which is the Electoral Commission, the supervising ministry, Justice and Constitutional Affairs, the political parties represented in Parliament were never consulted by the movers nor the committee. No other stakeholder, including members of Parliament, who had sought, albeit in futility, to move private members' bills on reforms touching political parties and elections, were accorded an opportunity to submit before the committee. The House may recall the vehement submission by the esteemed founding former first son of Uganda, the Honorable Jimmy James Michael AKENA Obote, MP Lira City East, and party president of the two-time party in government. For those who don't remember, 1962 to 1971 and 1981 to 1985, who is also a member and a former chair of the IPOD. In his submission on record of this House, the Honorable Jimmy James Michael AKENA labeled the bill diabolical. The minority found it necessary to recast the dictionary meaning of the word diabolical as below. It means characteristics of a devil, or so evil as to be suggestive of a devil. The second dictionary definition is disgracefully bad and unpleasant. The minority invites the House to pay kind attention and consider the concerns of the party president of UPC, and also recall the concerns of the Honorable Asuman Basalirwa, the party president of JEMA, in as far as implementation of Section 14 of the Political Parties and Organizations Act is concerned. There is no doubt in my mind that the leaders of the political parties in IPOD, who are not members of this House, I have listed them, the Honorable Chagulanyi Robert Sentamo of the official opposition party, NUP, the Honorable Amoriat Patrick Oboy of FDC, One Uganda, One People, the Honorable Norbert Mao of DP, Truth and Justice, and Mr. Magara George William of the PPP, if given the opportunity, would equally have opposed this bill, which has been moved without their views. The minority also observed